Hello, I'm Jack, and this is the B-36. I know not many people have done B-36s before, so I thought that would be fun to do. This one has motorized, but I'm not going to turn it on right now because it probably needs some new stuff going on in there. But yeah, this is real fun. See, it has the bomb bay and people in the cockpit right there. So yeah, there's only 4 of them left in existence, and I've been to 2 of them, part of the 4 left. Maybe once I see the 3rd one. This is the Goblin. That one's also sort of interesting because it actually was made to fit inside the B-36's bomb bay. The wings would fold up and it would actually go inside of this. You could either have 2 of these bombs or 1 of these and 1 of these. So your options there.
That's really impressive. Does the bomb bay open up on the bottom, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can actually open and close these bomb bays. There's 2 bomb bays right here. So yeah, like that. The F-86 over here is also interesting. It has, I made this little thing that's, I don't know, I think these are like do something with the battery, or I don't know, I'm not too technical about that. But that's like the air brakes here, and the swept wing, I used one of these Y pieces that I used on the propellers for the back to get that swept wing. So that's sort of interesting. The B-17 here actually is modeled off of one from Castle Air Base, and the Virgin's Delight. Has like the red engines and that. All of my builds have the cockpits built into them, so you can take the top piece here off and you can see the insides of the cockpits. So got like seats in there and levers and all the good stuff to control it. You can actually fit people in these cockpits, which is
you got all the different details in there. And then I guess coming back to your B-36 back here, this is such a massive build. How wide is the wingspan on this?
About 5.5 feet. I might make it bigger because it's not exactly on target, but it's close enough for me.
And it looks like you've got a lot of tiling on there. What's the structure like, and how did you kind of come up with the design for this? Were there drawings, or how do you do these when you're working on these planes?
Well, for these, I usually for the planes, you start with a big beam that goes through the front. I mean, obviously you can't do that with the B-52 over there, but this one, since it's more of a straight wing, it's sort of rainbow on the inside because why bother with gray pieces? When I first built it, it was all plates, but then I got a hold of the tiles, and I thought, well, why not? Because this is smooth, and I think this plane suits it better. Its tiles are expensive, so I was like, yeah, I know on that one. So that was really fun with that.
Yeah, that's understandable. So when you move these builds around, how does that work? Do they break down for transportation, or?
Well, I wasn't very smart when I built this one. This one's one solid thing. I mean, the nose here can come off, and the engines come off, the tail comes off, but it's really sturdy. It just barely fits in our car. It's sort of. I made these little boxes to go around the landing gear, so it could get bounced around, but the landing gear will stay protected. Because if you lose the landing gear, it becomes an ordeal not to have it like fall off, and you have to hold the plane and try to stick it back on. It's just not fun. So you just try to protect the landing gear on it.
Right, and when you're working on a build like this, I see you've got kind of a photo of the real thing here. Do you base it, are you looking at photos of it a lot as you're working on the build, or how does that work?
Yeah, and I've seen a couple in real life. They're kind of get a feel for how big they are. A lot of times you can actually look at the blueprints or the drawings of the actual builds, or on the actual planes, and okay, it's like 200 and something feet wide, and then you have to scale it right to how many plates wide it should be and how long it should be, and then decide what pieces work best for that. And yeah, a lot of thought goes into the planning process before you actually start sticking bricks together to build it. So I thought that's an important part of it. You can't just start sticking things together because then you realize you should have made a bigger mistake.
Exactly. And you've got so many gray pieces here. Where do you source those from? Is that Bricklink, or?
A lot of Bricklink, yeah. There's also a Lego store in there, and if you get lucky, you might find these tiles at the Lego store. Remember one time we found a downtown Disney Lego store hat, and we like rushed down here. It was like a line of people looking at them, trying to get them. And, oh, God. Now they've got a bunch of these. The dark gray tiles are really hard to find for some reason. I haven't found any of those at the Lego store, and they're quite expensive on Bricklink, so I don't tile my dark gray planes very much. So, yeah. Originally this wasn't tiled, but then when I found those tiles, I quickly tiled it because I think it looks better with the tile.
Yeah, I think it turned out really nicely. And so what kind of inspires you to do all these builds? You've got several massive Lego plane builds here. Is this just something you've always been interested in, or how'd you decide to start doing these types of builds?
Well, I originally started with the B-24 over there, the Witchcraft, because I went to see the real plane in real life. It was very interesting. And then I just started going to other air bases, like Castle and Mather and March. And Castle had this. I thought, oh, that's a cool plane. Why hasn't anybody built one of those yet? So then once I saw nobody had really built one, I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then after I did that, I thought, well, why don't I do that? So the Constellation at the end there is my newest one. Kind of quickly built an airport to kind of go with it, because I'm like, well, it's more interesting with an airport, so why not?
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you telling us about this build. Thank you.